Right now, this is over here. How this volume set is pretty much a default. Don't trade with the volume like this. I'm just showing how it looks on default. There's a couple lines here if you're brand new. I'll go in depth onto those. This is intraday scalping, so I'm looking at the 1 minute chart. You see this red here? I have it linked up over here to my 5 minute chart as well. My 5 minute chart has the same studies, but different candle set. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm overlapping the volume on this top left chart here just by going to settings, apply. Okay. Now this is what we're looking for. So if you look up here, what I have right now is February 8th, last Monday, or 2 Mondays ago, 9:30 a.m., just as the open. I had alerts earlier on when I pulled it up for SLM and RKT on gap up scanner, but I don't know why it's not loading right now. If we go over to Webull, the only problem I have with running Webull is that on the weekend I can't backtest stuff. I don't have the on-demand feature like I have with Thinkorswim. The charting and everything is clean and intuitive. It's so simple. So I do like that. KHC was just something I was testing. So, but I will sit here for a while, see if anybody joins. It's 8 o'clock Eastern time. I think that's early. This is obviously paper trading right here on demand. If you have questions, feel free to hit me up in the chat. Why are you here tonight? Are you trying to learn more about options, or are you trying to figure out intraday scalping? What's up? Yeah, no problem, man. Kids are in bed and I enjoy doing this. It helps me to refresh what I like to do as far as my rules, and also helps me to see my mistakes and try not to make them again. Right now, if you look, I have 1 minute and 5 minute charts up. The 1 minute chart is regular candles. The 5 minute chart is hike and ashy candles. This helps me to identify a trend. Helps me to stay in a trade when I need to stay in a trade so I don't get out too early. And it helps me to get out of a trade when it's going against me. So what I like to do is enter a trade on 1 minute regular candles and exit a trade on 5 minute hiking candles. It's just what I've been doing for years. It's not going to work for everybody. I use the same method for scalping options. But let's talk about stocks. If you have a specific stock that you want to talk about from this week, let me know. Hopefully this will buffering on the on-demand will catch up. Give me any date of a stock that you got into. Maybe you had a bad entry. Maybe you didn't exit when you should have. If you let me know when that was, yeah, okay, good, SOS. AMC, We could look at AMC. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's completely unusual. But yeah, let's look at SOS. SOS was a huge, insane runner. What day? What day did you get into it, or what day do you want to look at for SOS? Here you go on February 8th. It was trading at $4. What I don't know what it is now. I know it ran up at least to $16. So, uh, okay, SOS on 218. Are you still holding? Did you get burned on it? Um, did it go against you quickly? As much information and be able to help you out. So here we go. If you don't have Thinkorswim, burn and bag holding, we've all been there. 9 average. Okay. What platform are you trading with? Okay, you bought back on the 18th, and what's it trading at right now? Awesome. Thinkorswim's really good. Have you used the on-demand feature with Thinkorswim? This is what I do nights, weekends, after hours, anytime to just review my trades, and I can do it in real time. Oh, wow. I guess I should check that on my mobile. Honestly, I don't think SOS is going to come back right now. Just because of that news that came out. I wasn't in SOS at any point. I was working this week that everybody was trading SOS, so I missed it. I missed some runners like that when I'm working, but mostly because I don't play volatile plays at all when I'm working. But SOS had that bad news. I believe I saw a hit with the with the hotel as the headquarters or whatever. Actually, I have on demand. Yeah, so if you go right up here, see where I'm at on the top right, on demand. If I click this right now, it'll bring me back to this is real time. You see everything's green. Um, this is the real count. So where it's going to be is up here on the top right. You just click on demand, and you can trade everything up until the last closing day. So I can't trade Friday. Can't test Friday on here, but I could test Thursday. So, and you go right up here when you select on demand, you go up here and you can pick any date and time you want. So sometimes I'll go in and like if I know I took a trade at 10:15, I'll go in and I'll select 10:15 as the time. Instead of playing the whole day, I'll select 10:15 as a time and I'll just see where did I enter and why did I enter there based off of my indicators and if there was a better entry that I could have noticed earlier. Because sometimes when you're doing real and live, you miss things just because of how quick things are going. So I just come back to test it. The only reason I have RKT down here is because the original day I had selected, the scanner was coming up, but for some reason, my buffering is taking forever tonight. I don't know if the system's out for an update. They do that on the weekend sometimes, so it's just horrible. But let's go over the chart and indicators real quick and see how you should have gotten out of SOS immediately instead of bag holding. All right. So on February 18th, what time? Do you know what time you bought it? If you look up here in the top right, this is the 17th. So this is the 18th pre-market right here. And here's the 18th. Hopefully this plays. If I go to the 19th, maybe it'll. Do you know what time you bought that? 15:03. So that's 3:03 when you bought back in. All right. I like nothing about where you bought back in. Intraday. Sorry to say that. Sorry to say that, but here, I'll tell you why. Is you're looking, you bought back in right here, this area. And there's a couple of reasons why it was a bad buy to begin with. Do you have VWAP up? You should have VWAP. If you're intraday scalping, even if you're trying to go for a long couple days, sometimes I prefer scalping even intra week. So if I'm going to plan on dumping something in the same week, I consider that a scalp. It's just a long scalp to me. But scalping intraday, same day scalps. Look at this spike right here. That was 130. So you missed that completely right there. Let me tell you how this was a good trade, how yours was a bad trade. Just so you can see it. I'm not dogging on you. I just want you to see why so that you can learn from it. This dark blue line I have here is the 180-day simple moving average. If you're on Thinkorswim, you want me to show you how to get that study up? If you do, just hit me in the comment. But right here, the red is the 12 EMA. Sometimes I trade with the 5 EMA and the 12 EMA. Sometimes I trade with the 12 EMA and the 180 SMA. I prefer this right here, which is the 12 EMA and the 180 SMA. So I'll show you real quick. You can right click and, well, let's go up here. Let's do it this way. This is the easiest way. Up here you have studies. Click on it normal. Hit edit studies. Over here, pull up, just type in moving average. Let's see, or no space. So here it pulls up the simple moving average. So you would click on this, it automatically moves it over to here, and then you hit apply. But I don't want to put up a new one. So now how you reset that is, because it's automatically defaulted to 9 for a simple. So you go over here to the settings, and you change it to 180. You could type it in or move it up. But so you select 180, and then you can come down here. I have my width as 2 for my moving averages, just because I like them to like stand out to me 100%. Because it helps me to stick with my rules. So, and then you come down here and select the color that you want, and you select it on the palette. I'm going to cancel all that. But once you choose that and you select the 180, you hit apply. So now for the exponential moving average, I come over here and I put exponential. Then I select moving average exponential. Do the same thing. Double click it. It moves over here. And this is when I can change it anytime if I want to go between the 5. I save my study sets. I'll go over that in another Twitch or live. But I save them so that I know, hey, this one's a scalp, intraday, simple moving average of the 180. This is another study set that's the intraday. Both are exponential moving averages on the 5 and the 12. So just note, look at how simple my chart is. There's some people who have a lot of stuff up there. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other indicators that I use, but simply, I just use this. The 12 EMA, the 180 SMA, and VWAP, and then volume overlaid. Did you see how I overlap the volume? Um, Volume overlap is just right click, go to style and settings, and you go to settings. It's defaulted where this is unclicked. So you just go and click that. Also, volume is gray. So I have the red and green candles here. So if you go to appearance, I believe you can fill in your candles this way. Color as symbol ticks for your volume bars. This is what the volume looks like in default. So you select this. It just makes everything, to me, quicker to identify which way the volume's going. So, all right, I'm sorry if I trail off sometimes this late at night. I've had long days, I'm dealing with the kids, wife's at work, but let's go over the trade now. You said you bought at 1503. I'm going to show you why I never would have bought there, but I'm going to show you where I would have bought. Let's say this came up on my scanner with high volume. I generally don't trade the open here. So all of these are 1 minute. So 1, 2, 3 minutes. Sure, yeah, they're 1 minute. 1, 2, 3 minutes into open. I don't like it. This is too volatile. But now I see this huge green candle with a volume of green. I don't buy that. I cannot trade that to the upside. And that's because it's below VWAP, which is your purple line. So it's a bullish engulfing, but it's below VWAP, so there's no confirmation. It's below my red line, which is my 12 EMA, like hard below it, so that's a resistance. And then it's below the 180, which is a strong resistance. 180, simple moving average, is a strong resistance. So there's no way I'm ever buying this green candle, especially it's midway between gold and VWAP down here, the lower line. So this candle here, it looks like, oh, this is the one I want to get in because this one right here tells me that this is going up. But no, this is riding every line of support and resistance. So you can't buy this candle. I would wait for the third candle. People think, oh, I'm trading pennies. At that point, I'm missing out on pennies here. Because this candle, if you look up top here, if you look right up here, this candle opens at 1097. It's a high of 1147, low of 1091, and closes at 1121. So that's a huge range. The range is 54 cents. So most new traders are thinking, oh, they're missing this. Not missing it. What you're doing is you're making sure that you're not losing money because, especially if you set your stop losses, you're going to put your stop losses right down here. I would hope you would put them right down here at the very least the bottom of this red candle, because that tells you where it broke down. So my stop loss would be here. But if you bought this candle, you're going to stop out immediately, or you can sell it on the spread, which isn't really, that's a 1 minute candle, so you can't sell it on the spread really that easily. But then you go to this candle and you watch it develop. I watch these candles. I'm looking at the volume. Volume is actually dropping on that green candle above with a long wick. So that's telling me that this is not confirmation. Look at this volume. Volume on that one compared to the one before is less than half. And you can see that by looking right up here where it says volume. As I scroll over this volume, 786 on this bar, 716 on this bar, half of it on this bar. little more than half, but it tells me when I start seeing that wick develop, I can't buy that candle. Volume's not in there. So then we go into this little sideways action. And you get red, huge red volume to the downside. But I come in and I see this candle. Look at all these lines right here. If I draw it for you. Pre-market. Look at that. You can see that with your eyes. I don't draw these lines while I'm trading intraday. When I'm scalping, I don't draw these lines. No way. It's too much clutter. I like it clean. But let's go back and look at these. Let's go back and look at this line. Look at that. Boom. Nailed it right there on a good support. It was a breakdown to VWAP on the Golden Cross. Look at this right here. Nailed it again on a good support. That's just a quick. Wow, I wasn't even being very precise with it. I'm just looking at these candles, and this is what I do during the day. So from the beginning of the day, I start seeing this candle now. Held that support, coming in strong to the upside. My 12 MA is now crossed over my 180, which is the blue line. So my 12 red has crossed over the 180, which is the blue. This is coming above VWAP also. Once this candle develops, this is where I'm in. Right here. So I might get this pullback and I might be out of the money. I'm losing on this trade from the next candle immediately. But my first stop is a mental stop. My mental stop is this red line. My second hard stop is VWAP on this trade. So, hits the red line, the 12. So now I'm like looking at it. I wait, let that candle finish, and watch the next candle. Boom, hits it. I'm back in the money. Next candle opens above. Awesome. I get scared right here. Scared little girl right here. No offense, but I get scared right here because I'm seeing a long wick to a red candle. I'm out of this trade. Does it go further? Yes. But as soon as I see this and that huge red volume bar down there, look at this. Why would I stay in this trade? At that point, I'm guessing, gambling, and hoping. I'm out. Done. So then I look at it later. Everybody's talking about it. Oh, who's still holding this? Blah, blah, whatever. And I look and I'm like, shh. I'm like, damn it, I missed 40 cents on that trade. But you know what happened when I missed that 40 cents? I secured profit right here. I'm out of the trade. I'm sitting on cash. And I just watched this develop. Oh no, you're getting ready to break down my 12. Oh, you broke down my 12. Now you're getting ready to break down my VWAP. Oh, you broke down my VWAP. Now you're getting ready to break down my pre-market support. You broke that down. Now you're consolidating. So do I want to sit here for the next 4 hours of consolidation? Look at this. 4 hours. Boom, 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 boom. And this is what new traders do. You sit here and you just stare and watch every minute candle until this break happens. And then you're like, oh no, I missed it. All right, so with my mental stop, let's say that red line is 1003. 1002 prints, you're out. No, I need, just the same as I need confirmation to the upside, I need confirmation to the downside. That red line at first is a mental stop saying, pay attention, close, or if I can't pay attention to this trade, put a stop on it, like a hard stop on it. But my mental stop is the first part where I'm going, all right, is this going against me? Do I need to change up my strategy? Is this trade no longer a good trade? So the mental stop for me, and again, it's different for other people. Sometimes that mental stop, they get out immediately because they just don't like putting stops on that will get rated, which is why I don't put stops on at first. So my mental stop, if it's a trade that I'm confident about to the upside. That 12 MA, the 12 EMA is my mental stop. If it breaks below that on the next candle confirming, I'm out. I don't care what the loss was. I wasn't in it huge to begin with because I managed my position into that trade. But intraday scalping, if it breaks below that, now my hard stop comes into play. There's no more talking to myself about it. I'm out of it completely. So if it hits that hard stop, I'm done. Trade went against me. I lost money. And I don't care. I move on to the next trade. Because as you notice, every day there is a new stock, there is a new trade, there is more volume. So just walk away. Who cares? Market or limit orders on my stops or my entries. Stops are depending also, but for Webull, I'm starting to use hotkeys. So I'm using during market times. A lot of times I'm actually using hotkeys for market buys and sells. For pre-market, you have to use limit. I'm not a big pre-market or after hours trader. It's just always, I just can't do it quick enough. So entries aren't always limits. Sometimes my entries are market buys. If I see something that I want to get into as I see volume growing and like see this consolidation all day, but I know where the last break was, so I would put a line like this, like my price line. If I know the last break was right here, then if I can't be on this trade, this is complicated trading. I don't like to do it, but I would set a buy and sell order where I would buy a limit above this with a stop. So, but if I'm watching and I can trade it live, like as I'm sitting here, I would never do that. What I would do is just wait for confirmation, hit the market buy on this, sometimes a limit buy, but limit buys, you miss out a lot on limit buys, to be completely honest. You cannot always limit buy. But these entries, like this one, intraday, quick scalp, and it's above my 12 MA, consolidated all day, volume comes in hard. This is a market buy all day, right here. As soon as I break VWAP on this, and I've already been trading above the 12 MA, so that's why I'm watching this. Now I see my 12 MA crosses over my 180, the blue line. I love that even more. Now I start seeing volume come in, so I love it even more. So for this, once I see this candle open above this candle, I'm in it on a market buy. And once I see this, I'm out. So here, I probably buy here, and this goes out 40 cents. I'm not making millions off of this. I'm not making millions off of a single trade. Just in, out. And if you were in to even hold for this because you were lucky, this right here, this gray volume candle, and this indecision doji, you should be out. Because generally, to me, if it's indecisive, people get scared and sell it. So it's going to sell. I'm a cynic. You should always be a cynic. It's your money. Protect it. So you see this candle? You see this volume? Right here. You see all this consolidation? Why are you sitting in this, watching it? Just get out. Even if you're if you're in a small loss and it's just doing this and you're looking and looking and looking, just get out of it. Reposition. Oh, well, I'll miss it here. You got out, you had a little loss, and then now you missed a spike. But the thing is if this spike went the opposite way, the same amount of money, at least you didn't lose it. So, boom, spike up, indecision right here, I'm out. Look what happens. It rides my 12 all day until it breaks the 12 down again to the downside. So you got in, you said 1503. Here you are. No reason to buy there at all. Intraday. I don't know if there was news or some other catalyst or anything, but I'm just telling you based off my daily scalp, I would have never entered that trade there. Ever. Especially, you actually entered it on the biggest red volume candle there is. So overall, you learn from it. If you're still holding it and you lost 50% on it already, we all learn. We all learn. So, but if you see what I'm saying, like there's no reason on this chart to buy right there. You're below the 12. You're in the middle of VWAP and lower VWAP band. You're below the 180. I never buy anything below the 180 unless it's a real long. And I have RSI and stuff up like that. But intraday, I'll never buy anything below the 180. So you got three things wrong here, but learn from it. You're down 50% on that trade. I hope it's not too much. I don't know anything else. Again, I'm not doing due diligence on this. There might be some catalyst upcoming. I mean, it spiked here the next after hours and it's holding it up there. So you bought here 1503. You said your average is 9, so you're right in here somewhere. So you might have got it back, right? Did you get it back yet? Still holding, averaging down. Okay. That bad news came out. Honestly, you can never. Oh, 497. Did I see your average was 9? Or you said your average was 497? Oh, okay, yeah. 497, $9 average now. So if you bought the same amount of shares that you have to average down, you're looking at like a $6, $7 average, right? So yeah, you're almost down 50%. It sucks. The news came out was bad, really bad, that fake headquarters or whatever they said. But I just get scared. I'm not a long swing trader or holder. I'm working on that now, just because I know some swing traders that's their bread and butter. And the way I work my retirement is when everybody else is scared, 180 EMA, SMA, simple moving average. I can pull it up for you in a second, but yeah, for my retirement, I buy. What I do is if the market's crashing, as everybody says, I don't get scared on that. But if the market's crashing, I take all of my funds that I have in there and I move it over to something safe like bonds or whatever, just so that it doesn't fluctuate much. But I increase my buying to the maximum potential as it's going down. I don't care how much it's going down. So if you're a long holder, you know more about the company than I do. You might not be wrong. Honestly, I don't think it looks like there's a recovery in place. But again, I'm concerned about that news, so I might take a spike, reposition later, or just hold it. If it's not your whole account, maybe just hold it. So for early trader, yeah, it's if you look here, I'll zoom in. The red line, the blood red line, is my 12 EMA, exponential moving average. I don't ever buy a trade intraday that is below the 180, which is the blue. And I don't ever even plan to enter a scalp unless I'm above my 12 MA. Sometimes I run the 5 and the 12 together instead of 12 and the 180, but I've noticed that my entries are a little later with this, but I'm more consistent with this setup. So I'd rather do this nice and slow with the 12 and the 180 than if I set up the 5, 12. There's a lot of movement in a 5 and a 12. So I like this. Look how smooth this is. Nothing here during the whole day tells me that SOS was a buy. It's just nice and smooth, just riding this. So there's no confirmation in any of this. The volume's just steady, up and down. It's just accumulation phase. That's fine. But if you look first thing in the morning, which I was showing Zimster earlier, once I got this candle here, and then this one opened more than 50% above this one, I was in this trade. And I didn't actually specifically enter SOS, but I do this on every one of my trades. So I get into it right here. This pullback makes me red. I'm losing on this trade, but it's holding my 12 MA. So I keep the trade. But what I use to confirm this is it's not just one chart, obviously. What I use to confirm that is the 5-minute Heiken Ashi candles. So let's see, let's make sure this is the same day. 17th, that's the 18th. So here you go. Coming into the 18th. I love the hike in 5 minutes. Sometimes I exit before these confirmations just because I see the 1 minute's moving real quick. But these tell me when to stay in a trade longer. So you see I enter this trade at 9:40. Here's the 5 minutes. Right here is 9:40. This green would tell me to stay in. But once it starts touching upper VWAP on the 5 minute and you're touching a huge resistance of the 180 on the 5 minute, I'm out no matter what. So any other questions, or you wanted to go over AMC? Can go over AMC. What day specifically? I really wish this wasn't buffering, but if you haven't used on demand on Thinkorswim, normally this is what I do on the weekend. Just confirm my trades. Helps me to build my trading plan. I use a lot of the same methods for option scalping. For options long, I use a completely different method. I don't even look at charts almost at all. That's funny, but you're on Rob's Discord, right? I'm pretty sure I've seen your name there, but are you doing options or shares? Your shares and all of it? For let's look at AMC. What day? Good. Have you ever traded options before? And okay, how long have you been trading overall? Oh, I don't even trade Apple. Very seldom do I trade Apple options. Screw me over every time. They pin option expirations and strikes so well to burn theta on Apple. Like Apple, you can't be in more than 3 minutes. 3 or 4 months. OTC doesn't really um, teach you how to trade. I'm gonna close this out. See if we can. I'm new to Webull, so do you know specifically what day on Webull? I don't even know how far back I can go, but the thing is, I can't trade it live, so. AMC, I was in it on that spike to 17 or whatever. That was a horrible trade from my part too. I even got some FOMO on that because I let my account go red 5 or 7,000. Again, I wasn't 100% into it. I always manage my trades with only a specific portion of my account. But even I got FOMO because I let it go down so much, and I only ended up with like a $2,700 profit or something. So the fact that I've risked twice the amount for half the amount of profit is ridiculous. So that's why I've stayed away from uh, GME and AMC because it's just it's easy to get caught up in that, especially when everybody's talking about it. It's coming across every board. Yeah. So what date on AMC? If you look off to the right here, when I'm trading options, I love to look at my RSI, MACDs. Obviously, I'm looking at other stuff in the option chain, but I like to see hourly minimum, depending on how far out my strike is or how far out my expiration is, and then I like the daily. But people freaking out on AMC, here you go. This is a nice curl, and it's above the 12 MA, and it's above the 180. RSI has cooled off. It's not crazy. MACD is still positive. So AMC on the daily is not awful. I could see a pullback to 650, 635 here. And if it bounces there, it could go back to 10. All right, so 127 at 11.16 was my first buy. Tanked. 120 shares, $10 average. Why didn't you get out this week? 220. Oh, you bought 2 days ago. All right, so you've averaged down. You're at 10.08. I have no problem with AMC. I think AMC is fantastic long. Their earnings are coming up here. I posted it in the education room. Let's see. AMC, March 2nd. So Tuesday. Hang on to that bag a little longer. If it spikes, get out of it. That one's an easy trade. You're actually not horrible in it. What is it trading at right now? 820. So you're $2 down on 120. So you're not down huge. Is this how much of your portfolio is it? Anybody else have questions up there? 20th? Yeah, that one's not bad. Tuesday's earnings. You might get a spike into that. The thing is whenever they hold their conference call, they're going to talk about how much debt they got rid of because they're offering and this whole weird trading scenario that's happening right now. That yeah, if it spikes on Monday, it could possibly spike on Monday into earnings on Tuesday. Get rid of it on Monday. And if you want to hold it long term, wait till it dips after Tuesday and earnings. I'm working on buying AMC long term because I actually love before all this. I love their company. You know, COVID broke them down. Shorts are breaking them down because of the pandemic. But ultimately, best theaters I've been to. When I was in Missouri before I ended up upstate New York, um, actually AMC is the only theater we have near here for like 2 hours, but they're they're opening them up on March 5th because New York State governors open up all that stuff. So that's good news to me. So when I start thinking about AMC down in Missouri, that I could go in, order food, best reclining chairs during the movie, even like their business is changing. And people that think, oh, theaters are dead, that's nonsense. Where do kids take their first dates? They're always going to go to the movies. Where do newly married couples go? They're always going to go to the movies. Now you add dinner and a movie that you can order food there, and it was really good food too. Now that you can order dinner there, yeah, absolutely. For the New York State and city news, opening up all the AMC theaters in the city. But people that think that movie theaters are dead, they're absolutely wrong. And I think AMC, this company has been around since before the Great Depression. So if you're telling me that a company that survived the Great Depression will not survive this, you got to convince me. No way. Especially now that they just restructured and they eliminated half their freaking debt because of this stuff. So this company's going a long time. I wouldn't worry too much. Don't get scared on bag holding that right now. Did I trade XTNT? No. If it was called by anybody or anything, I probably didn't trade it. Yeah, if they're not debt free, they're pretty close to debt free. I don't think they'll sell for AMC. I think they will, if nothing else, have partners because their business model is fantastic. XTNT. No, I saw it come up on a lot of boards. I did not trade it. Ooh, okay. What do you have with? You mind looking at the chart? See what the 5 and 180. It's getting ready to hit the 180. Hopefully it bounces, but it looks weak. This is an after hours, so you can never tell. But your everything is bad right now on it. How bad you holding on it? Yeah, I'll pull up the Thinkorswim. Let me. For some reason, I think they're doing an update, being that it's this late on Thinkorswim because it's not buffering. Pull it up over here and put my password in. But you see, even over here on Webull, RSI is breaking down, which is good because it was way overbought. So your RSI is cooling off. Problem is you're getting a MACD crossover to the downside here, and this is on the hourly. I think it already did on the daily as well. Look at that. That's way overextended here. So bad things possible. However, I don't know why it ran to begin with. Again, I'm still learning Webull. Let me pull up Thinkorswim. When I pull up Thinkorswim, I'm going to pull up the news on it. Was there specific news? See your charts as of 9:40 a.m. 45 also at 13. All from Friday? All right. So you're not in it. What specifically do you want to know? Are you looking to get into it or looking for an entry? Boy, is a freaking goat. That dude. Yeah, if I was looking at this, from what I see, easy calls. So if you're new, start pull up your charts when they're calling it. Like Kuya, when he's calling it V, Santa, when those guys are calling that stuff, you gotta have your charts up, even if you're not trading. Have it on Thinkorswim, have it on Webull. Um, Santa uses the 5 and the 12 MA. I throw the 180 on there also, and he also uses VWAP. But if you look at this on the 1 minute for Friday, I'm still waiting for Thinkorswim, sorry. If I was playing this intraday, you want it on the 5 minutes? No, they're not. They're not. When they're playing this, Kuya could be using longer term charts. They probably have multiple up. As you'll see here, I have the 5 minute icon over here. But if I'm scalping intraday, let me show you how I use these in conjunction. So what was the first time you had on there? 940. That's tough. 940. I'm not generally looking to enter a trade. But I would, unless there was news. Let's see the news. What was that? The 24th or the 26th? Yeah, so I'm just pulling up the news right now because I got to see what did Kuya see. I would not have been in this trade right away at 940. For one, it's just too close to the open. The news, I think, was there, but the volume wasn't there at 940. So he must have been seeing something. I was at work. That's this week. I was actually working Monday through Friday, which was horrible because this was a fantastic play. He got in here, but Kuya doesn't play like I do. He will buy lower VWAP bounces. He has different rules, and that's what you have to develop. What is your trade strategy? For me, if I'm playing intraday, same day, I love that it's holding the 12, which is the red line. I love that it's holding the 12 EMA here, but I am not buying until I start seeing a breakout over what is, see this resistance here starts developing. I can't see the day before, and if I go to on demand, it's going to get slow right now. But the 5 minute chart tells me that 940 was the play all day. So he was probably using the 5 minute chart. So I would have got in somewhere around 1, 2, third candle break up here. I would have been in at 958, which was late. So I would have got in there and exited as soon as this candle opened up down here, which is that's 1010. So you look at 10. As soon as this candle turned right here, I would have been out. So if you see why I'm doing that is I get confirmation of my 12 MA, which has been holding, but now it's getting blasted with volume up. So I'm in this trade. I'm in this trade with a tighter stop right here, only because the volume is not where I want it to be. But I will enter this trade. And then once I get this big candle here, usually I set a trail stop and I walk away if it's something like that. And the only reason is because too many times you start looking and watching and you start convincing yourself that other things are going to happen. But for me here, I would have set a trail stop and I probably would have been stopped out right here. To be honest, before any of that big candle occurred, I would have been stopped out here. Does that mean I'm done for the day? No, I've positioned my cash. When you get runners like this, they're usually multi-baggers throughout the day. So what I do is I wait and see, is this gonna back test a VWAP, which is your purple line here? And it did. So now if it bounces off VWAP, I would have missed this entry. That's way too big of a candle, way too quick. There's no way I didn't get confirmation on it. So do I get mad? Yeah, I'm mad that I missed a, what is that? 85-cent range. Am I mad that I missed that? Yes. But there's no way for me to confirm that that was the entry. If you look at it here. Now, later on in the day, breaks VWAP. So now I move away from it. I set an alert to tell me when it comes back to a certain price. But for the day, I'm done with it. When you see me type in the room, I'm off XTNT. That usually means that I'm not looking at it anymore. I don't know what the chart's doing. Don't care. Don't know what the volume is. Nothing. I'm off of it. I'm done until it hits my price alert. So if we look here, breaks down VWAP, then breaks down the 12 MA. Doesn't come quite all the way down, but once it starts playing to the downside with VWAP here, I know it's going lower. You just keep looking at these charts. They all do the same stuff over and over. So once it breaks that VWAP to the downside, it's going to test it. And if it tests it, but you don't get confirmation above, like right here, this candle, people want to buy this candle. Stop buying this candle. Stop buying this candle. Wait for your confirmation. It should look like this right here. Okay? So that candle should be your, hey, let me pay attention. This candle should be your confirmation. But it didn't confirm and it broke down and it got back below here. Don't hope it's going to go back up. It got below the 12 at this point. You can't hope it's going to go back up. It will abide by these rules almost all the time. Now you get your golden VWAP bounce. All right, I don't buy this bounce. You're above the 180, so I like that. You're below the 12, so I hate that. I don't buy this bounce. Even here, there's not enough range for me to say, oh, it's above the 12, because there's not enough room between the 12 and VWAP for me to say I'm buying this. Sometimes I buy a golden VWAP bounce if there's a lot of room above the 12 MA. If this doesn't make sense, hit me up. I will make it make sense. But if you see here, this golden VWAP bounce does not make money to me. It's too risky. Way, 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 way too risky. I love it. It's consolidating. It's going to bounce, yes. But here, do I want to play 292 to 340? I would love that play. Problem is I don't like buying below 180 or below VWAP when I'm intraday scalping. Others will. Yellow is lower VWAP. Purple is VWAP. Pink is upper. Or orange. I'm not sure how you're seeing it, but yeah, pink, purple, yellow, or golden. This is the golden VWAP bounce. A lot of people will buy that, but I've seen that break down. I don't buy it. I definitely don't buy it if it's below the 12, which is my red line. But once you see here, look, now you start riding on top of the 12. Now you're paying attention again. Now you get this volume candle that blasts through VWAP right here. And you're above the 12, and you're above the 180, and you're above VWAP. Now, do I buy here? No, because it immediately pulls back. Like this is my first candle above VWAP. I don't buy until my second green candle above VWAP. So I watch it here. I watch this one, but then it gets red. So now I'm like, all right, that wasn't the entry. What's my entry? Holds VWAP. Great. Now I see this big green candle. I'm in on this trade right here. I'm immediately down on it. Probably immediately. It looks like it. But my stop is VWAP. That's my mental stop because VWAP and the 12 are holding together. So that's my mental stop, VWAP. If it breaks VWAP, I'm out. That's a market sell. If I need to market sell, it's a limit sell, stop limit, however you do yours, but my mental stop is VWAP. If it's quicker for me to just market sell because I don't like what's going on and exit the trade and forget about it, then I'm out. But if you see here, my mental stop was VWAP, not only because it's VWAP, but look at this support and resistance right here on all these candles previous. It's a strong, strong support and resistance. So if it breaks that down again, I'm done. If I stay in that trade, I'm just losing over and over and over. So bought it, bought the break right here, immediately down. I'm in it because it doesn't even touch my 12. It doesn't come near VWAP. I'm in it still here. Up a little bit. That's nice. Now I see this candle and I'm getting concerned. But have your rules. My rule is, do I stay in this here or cut it, take the small profit, or do I risk where I'm at for potentially greater gains. Since this candle is happening halfway the distance to the upper VWAP, most times I'm staying in this trade. Again, that's a personal thing. Like when you see when it starts trading halfway below VWAP and the lower band, like I start thinking there, like what's going on? Is this going to break down now back to VWAP? So develop these strategies over time. What helps is the 5-minute Heiken Ashi candles. You got your breaks. Let's look at 11:53, 11:55 here. This is where the Heiken Ashi candles help. It tells me stay in this trade. You're still, especially on the Heiken when you're above the 12, and I'm above VWAP, and the 180 is way down there. I'm staying in this trade because I don't like this candle, but the risk to reward potential here, because it stayed green on the trend, is too high. I'm not going to exit this trade on a 5-minute green Heiken. No way. So if you don't know how to use Heiken Ashi candles, go check it out on YouTube. They're fantastic for staying in a trade and exiting. As soon as, like, Heiken or not, this spike here, I'm out. I don't care what the candle says afterwards. Why would you, if you're staying in that trade at that spike right there, you're just being greedy. There's no reason to be in this trade after this spike. It's just stupid. It's horrible training. You're not giving yourself the best possible chance to come out with a profit, because you're going to hold it and then you'll be like, oh, well, I didn't sell on that. It's going to get back to that spike. Never gets back to that again. Look at that. Boom. Down. Comes back up a little bit, so you hold longer. Oh, hits a VWAP upper. Boom. Breaks down again. And you never even exit on these spikes. I've been there. Anymore. I follow this green trade. I follow these hiking. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Once I'm at upper VWAP, I start looking for my exit immediately. I get scared immediately. But if I get a spike like this, get out. There's no reason to stay in that trade. When you stay in that trade, you lose. Price targets. Don't care about price targets. Care about candles. Now, how do I determine support and resistance? That's different, because those are also price targets. Is that what you want to know? I don't care about price targets. I see a spike like this, I'm out. And when I start seeing, it sucks because I've been there. We've all been there. When I see people asking about how do you determine a price target on this? Look at this. This shit was at $1.60 for 6 years. I don't even know. So how do I come up with a price target for that? When you look at that, tell me, how would you come up with a price target for that? Let's go on the hourly. There's no way. You know what I mean? There's no way to determine a price target on that. So when people start asking that, I feel bad. I feel like a dick when I'm just like, stop asking shit like that, because I gotta stop cursing because I want to edit this later. But you can't determine a price target. This is a runner for no specific reason to me. I'm watching volume, and I'm watching candles, and I'm out. Done. Learn to play those plays, and if you can't, don't enter them. So here, yeah, you saw it where these 1 minutes, I get these confirmation above the 12, I enter it. This is scalping opportunities all day. So what do I care about a price target? Everything to the moon. They all go to the moon these days. But if I can explain that to you, is there is no price target, because if anybody's giving you a price target, they're pulling it out of their ass. They are lying to you. Now, for something that's not like this stock, but AMC, which has history now with the volatility, I could start giving you resistance and support levels, but they may not hit those levels. They're gonna get close to those levels, and in most cases, I'm very confident about my support and resistance. If you see me calling numbers, I'm usually saying, for this, I would say 301 is in play. I say 301 is in play, that's because XTNT is breaking to the downside. If it breaks this 180, it's going to 301, which is golden VWAP. So those are those price targets. But that's different. Like Rect, I call it Rect, but RKT here. Um, again, don't know why this ran. I just had it up because when the on demand was working, the scanners were working, but on demand is not working right now. But RKT itself, just to look at a different chart, is before the spikes. Stocks, not options, right? No. I'm saying golden VWAP bounce. That's different than a golden cross. Golden cross is when people cross moving averages. I don't care about that stuff. Again, yeah, so stocks. Look here. If you go to Thinkorswim, Webull has it too. If you go to Webull, pre-market, after hour, scalps. That's just one of my defaults that I have there. Look at this, top gainers. Go over here, pre-market, boom. Then I change it by percent change or volume. So that's for Webull, if you don't have Webull, which is bullish. I don't like lower VWAP bounces. I play VWAP. So anything above the 12 and VWAP. No, these rules don't apply pre-market and after hours. The Heiken can, but what was that ticker? XNTN, whatever. XTNT. Let's look at it. You look at this after hours volume. Like it's just not there. So I don't think Heiken works when it doesn't have as much volume. But back to Thinkorswim for my scanners. You can just go right to watch list and you create your own watch list, which usually I have like 4 up here, which you see like I have my SPACs, Trade Wars, just my weeds, um, long options, and then this is scalping options. So I create those, and then I have my own low float that I made. But for default, easy default, go to your watch lists, go to this tab right here, go right down to public GNR. This is a preset default scanner in Thinkorswim, one of the best. Love it for pre-market. Pre-market, even if I don't play it as much, sometimes I do. I don't go heavy on pre-market. But pre-market helps me to determine what has the volume going into market hours. So going into market hours, I look for those huge sells at 9:30, then 9:30, and then I start looking for my confirmation bounces, which I showed you earlier, which were, these above the 12, above the VWAP. So I play it safe. If I don't get this above here on those high volumes, and then over here, all I have is the amount of shares they have and the volume. And the reason I do it like this is sometimes I go by percent change, and I like sometimes the 20 percenters. I don't ever like when they have more than 4 um, letters in their ticker, but I look for these, 20 percenters because that's where I start. Then I go ahead and I shift the volume and I start looking. Okay, LIXT we know ran like crazy for Friday. It was a 48% change. So was it the highest percent change? Oh, EXDW. That's probably warrants on something. I don't even know what that is, but it was like number 6. But I would have never traded these two anyway. And there's 0 shares, so that tells me they're probably warrants or some kind of weird stuff like that. So go to your gap up and you get your gap up and it comes up. There's other ones too. I like percent change gainers also. And then I reset the percent and I look at it, and you'll see LIXT came up here also. But if I go like this with volume, so okay, this has 218 million volume and 87,000 share, or 87 million shares. That's XTNT that you played. So that's how it comes up. That's how everybody's finding this stuff. FSR, man, people were trying to short FSR. I knew FSR was not in full FOMO mode 2 days ago. And I knew it because the way the volume was coming in. So get your scanners, learn how to use them. Even if you don't trade pre-market, because I don't trade pre-market, watch it. Watch them, because they're going to tell you what's running during the day. OCGN, let's see what happened. So I usually have this. If you see this yellow right here, that means it's linked to my charts down here. So what happens? We have CCIV, OCGN, boom, pulls it right up here. So I can do an immediate look at it. Look at that. This is pre-market even. If I look at the gap up, sometimes if I'm not getting anything on gap up, I go right to percent gainers. So they're just the two defaults I go to. After that, I have my own settings. But yeah, like OCGN, it didn't gap. So if I didn't go and look at the percent gainers, I would have missed it. So if I hit gap up on that day, pre-market, it looks fantastic, but it just breaks down here. I would have never taken this trade, and I didn't. Again, I was working, but trades like this, I would have never taken. When you get that spike like that in the pre-market, and then it just gives it all back, I'm not even looking at it for the rest of the day. So when I start seeing stuff like that, and I see RKT, let's see what RKT did the same thing. It ran all the way up here before the market opened. I never play the market open. So if I would have seen this and it breaks the 12, it breaks VWAP, it goes down, I'm off of it for the day. So if I get like 2 or 3 of these same plays out of my gap ups and they're giving it all back, that tells me the volume's leaving. So I then go to my percent gainers, and I just run right through those, and I change it, set it by volume. What's the high volume? And I usually like something that's not right at the top, just for preference. It doesn't mean those aren't running. I just do that because that means that there's a little bit less volume. So I might have time for the play to play out. So let's look at here we go. This is just at the bottom level. It was at 457. I like the price. SRTS, 16 million shares, and it's traded over its shares for the volume. So click that one. So pre-market, it didn't have that huge spike. But what happens here? And am I on hiking over here? So if you look, holding golden VWAP, there wasn't crazy action at the open, which I love. It's just volume is. Give me 1 second, I'll answer those. So it's just right in the 12. Volume's not crazy, but now it starts coming in, breaks VWAP above the 12. I'm in right here. And then I'm out at the top. Right there, right there. And then I watch and I'm seeing, oh, okay, cool. It's holding my VWAP and my 12 for sure. I start seeing this volume come in. I'm in this with a tight, like, I can't always wait for that third candle confirmation. So I got to get in this with a tight stop. And my tight stop would be a hard stop on something like this, because this is more speculative intraday. You can just scalp this all day. It pulls back, gets the 180, bounces off the 180, which is the blue. I never play these below VWAP intraday. So I start seeing my candles get above the 12, breaking VWAP, consolidating above VWAP. I would get in here. Not on the red candle, but right in here on the green candle, and let it play. And you can just scalp this all day. And I'm sure these above here were better plays, but these are just safer plays. Those scanners, 100% update real time as it's happening. This is this volume just keeps changing nonstop all day. All this, these percents, this one will drop from here to here as this one moves up, like all these in the same range. They'll just keep moving around and jumping around. Sometimes I pull up my time and sales or stuff like that. I definitely have my level 2 up. I'm not pulling that up now, but I'll have my level 2 up depending on how it's trading. Yeah, doesn't show percentage pre-market for Thinkorswim, but the volume's there. Thinkorswim is, to me, a boomer platform. It's horribly, like, it's not intuitive. You can't just get on here and know what the hell you're doing. It takes way too much time to research. Their training videos are horrible. 180 SMA, yes, and 12 EMA. 12 EMA. I wish that this platform with charts was like Robinhood. Robinhood is absolute dog shit. We know that. But like the way I could pull up a watch list on Robinhood is fantastic. It tells me everything. Everything. It tells me it's 5-year percent gain. Like I actually have all my ARK ETFs on Robinhood that I can just scroll up real quick and look them up because there's so much information. You know how much time it takes me to develop that on Thinkorswim is just horrible. Awful. Yeah, so um, learn your volume too, intraday. Use these scanners if you're on Thinkorswim. Start with the gap up pre-market to start developing your daily watch list is your gap up. I don't draw trend lines during the day. Nope. No, it's too cluttered. I mean, look at my chart. This shit is clean. I like this. I don't like it cluttered at all. You just see it. I mean, you do it so many times, you just see it. Like, you can't see this trend line right here. You know, you just see it. You see these candles. You don't see this resistance right here. It's an immediate resistance. I don't even care what happened beforehand. But if I drew a line right here, this resistance, I bet you if I go forward for the rest of the day and back for the rest of the day, they all hit. So let's see. Yeah, you just got to go over this. Yeah, look at this right there. That was a breakout. But look at those 3 candles right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, so they play all day. And then you could build the first support right here. Boom. Next one. Here. Boom. So when I'm calling those price targets, that's all I'm looking at. Those candles. Like this is the next one. This is the next one. They're all going off my lines. We know what the trend is when these things are getting pumped. The trend is up until it's done being up. So be out before everybody else is. I don't have any clout like some of these um, discords out there with hundreds of thousands of members that they call out a stock and it pumps to the freaking moon in 12 seconds. People jumping in on those, I feel bad for them. I never, if somebody's calling a stock, even if it's me, I'm calling a stock or an option, don't enter it. Take a look at it. What's going on? Is this moving realistically? Now, for the small account challenge I'm doing on Rob's Discord with the options, those are all long swings, you know. So take a look at it if you're new to options. Go ahead and you can see the charts. What I'm doing for those charts is I'm looking at daily charts and hourly charts. Hourly charts for my entry, daily charts just to see support and resistance that I have to break through or test. But for stocks like XTNT, should have been out of this immediately. So what else you got? I'm here. Kids are asleep. Wife's at work. I'll go another 15, 20 minutes. Here's how to use those scanners if you want to do it on Webull. I love Webull, so much cleaner looking, but I'm still learning on it. So what I have set on my Webull for I just have VWAP right now on my pre-market and after hours. I have intraday scalps set up, which is just 2 charts here and trying to do it where it's quick sells, but it's not working out. So I actually haven't even used intraday scalps much. I use, even when I'm trading during the day, I use my pre-market and after hours setup just because I like it better. But options trade even when I'm trading shares. This is my favorite setup right here. It has my 5 MA, my 12 MA, my 180, has VWAP, and the volume overlay is there. So, and what I do is on the long chart, I'll throw up RSI and MACD. Yeah, there you go. I'm mentioning it now. Sorry. So I'll throw RSI and MACD on my dailies if it's something that I'm looking for a long term. Again, I never used to swing much. I'm working on a lot more swinging now because, and this is in the past, I was very familiar with RSI and MACD. That's how I traded all the time. Now I don't trade with it intraday at all. But since I'm working on longer option swings and a couple share swings, I'm working on ETFs with my Roth IRA with ARK, a lot of ARK stuff. So I trade the RSI, almost specifically only the RSI. I like the MACD there too, but for long stuff that I'm just gonna hold, I trade the RSI, almost specifically the RSI. So, and this is what I tell people. I get questions all the time from coworkers. Oh, what should I do here? What should I do here? Nothing. Buy more. Buy more. They're talking about their retirements. Our retirement is TSP. We have shitty funds in the TSP for any government employees out there. But the C and the S, the C is pretty much the S&P. The S is small cap. I run 70-30% in those two. What I do when the market's going down, I take all the principal and move it into a G fund, which is safe, just shitty bonds, but it stops it from losing. And I increase my purchasing on the C and the S. So same thing when I'm trading long term for stocks or options is I trade the RSI. RSI hits your 30 or even starts hitting like 50 or so. I start buying. When it hits the 30, buy a little bit heavier at that bottom, and then I do nothing. Once it starts spiking, take some off, just the same as if I was scalping intraday, take a percent off. Once it hits that 55, I should be halfway out of my position. Once it hits 70, I'm done. See this spike right here up to 83? There's no way I'm in that on a regular stock that I'm holding long. So that's how I play the RSI. Don't play it intraday. It's not quick enough. You'll end up looking at that RSI and missing out on the trade. Excuse me, throat's getting a bit dry. What do you guys use? Hit me up in the text. What do you use? Or did you not use anything? Why have you bought the stocks that you bought? Got to get into your minds a little bit so that I know maybe what to address on the next time. I know one of you here, Zimster, couple months you trading. How about you, early AM trader? Are you a pre-market trader? That's the name. What do you use? What's your method? Anybody else out of the other viewers up there? You just want to say hello in the message? Pre-market scalping, love it. Yeah, I just, one, I don't like getting up that early. Two is Thinkorswim. Do you use Thinkorswim for the pre-market scalping? I think it's awful. I cannot find a quick way to do it on Thinkorswim. I feel like the pre-market scalping would be much better on Webull. Their hotkeys were so easy to set. I don't even remember how I did it now, but again, I'm still working with. There you go. Yeah, I'm still working with this. This is what I have my limits. I usually have it just 200. I'd rather scale in on 200s real quick to 1,000. That gives me, you can't do the stop loss or take profit, because if you do that, it won't allow you to do limit buys pre-market. So on Thinkorswim, I can't. The hotkeys are trash, so I just right click on it. Honestly, like I love hotkeys on Webull. I wish it was all combined. I wish Robinhood, Thinkorswim, and Webull were all one, the most perfect broker, because Webull has the best hotkey setup no matter what. And like you see here, with the presets that they have, and then you go down for the trade settings. It'll let me do it now. There you go. So I was able to set up my buy customized, which is a limit with a 5 cent offset here, and I can't do the stop loss or take profit. So my alt key, alt B, is pre-market, and then what I do for during market is control B. So I do market buys during market hours, like I was saying earlier, because I have to be in quick and out. So for Thinkorswim though, the hotkeys are all awful. I don't use Active Trader. I have certain buys and sells that I've set up. You see here, I buy customs down here. I like that. Sometimes I use Active Trader because I can watch it real time. It's not going to show us anything right now, but I like Active Trader. Thing is just takes too long. Like I love how Webull, I could preset it for money amount instead of share amount, and it doesn't give me trouble. It doesn't give me trouble when I am buying that. It just sets the amount of shares that it needs to set. Whereas Thinkorswim, I've noticed I'm doing money orders instead of share orders. It like tells me, it gives me some error about that's too many shares or something like that. And I just can't stand it. So I love Thinkorswim because I started with it. I'm familiar with it, but it is not fast enough to me. And there's people out there who just, they get it, the way they're scaling into stuff. I don't like it for intraday scalping as much as I like Webull. So we have a couple new viewers and new followers. I appreciate it. But if you have any questions or about a specific stock or technique or strategy, message me. Like, share, and subscribe. If you're not familiar with my TikTok, I was gonna TikTok that I was live now, but I did TikTok that I was going live. I'm running a small account challenge on TikTok. YouTube right now is just my Twitch uploads. So if you want to follow that, I'm trying to learn how to make the YouTube better content so that I could put more out there, something that's more specialized, like here's a 1 minute chart. Here's why I use the Heiken Ashi on the 5 minute, stuff like that. Yeah, you need a cash account. These day trades, like they scare you into staying into shitty positions. Get out of Robinhood. If you're in a margin account on Webull, create a cash account on Webull, and stay in a cash account on Thinkorswim. Seriously, like I'm limited by my buying power, and I determine my buying power. So generally, I keep 20,000 or so. That might seem like a lot. I'm not flexing on that, but I like 20,000 because one, it's an even number. It gives me good mobility on my cash account, and I don't need 25 grand because the PDT, it doesn't exist. But 20,000 lets me trade 5,000 a day all week, essentially, with stocks and options. I love options because I get next day cash on Thinkorswim. So it's just nice that way. But I still get the T+3 with, I traded 5,000 of stocks today. I got to wait till Wednesday for that. So that's why just 20,000 just works for me. Anytime I make profit, take it out. I just keep trading. Like I always see people, there's some stock twit guys out there and some that are like, oh, I'm going 1,000 to, you know, 30 million. It's not realistic for most people. What's realistic for most people is managing a specific account size, especially if you want to do this full time, because you need to pay yourself. So what I'm doing with the small account challenge, the 2,000 is I'm not growing the 2,000 account. Everything profit I make on that $2,000 account goes into I'm buying just for the hell of it all ARK ETFs. I mean, especially they've been down red for 2 or 3 days now. So I'm not growing the trading account specifically because if I can consistently make 25%, this is options. So stocks is a little bit different because of the settlement days. So you could end up being more risky, or you could end up waiting longer to be able to trade again. So 2,000 not specifically fantastic. If you're only trading stocks, I would go around the $5,000. But if you have less than that, $2,000 trading stocks, you should not be in more than a $500 trade in a day. One, you shouldn't be in one single $500 trade. You should break that up. But if you're just starting out and you have 2,000 or less for stocks, there's no way you should be in a $500 trade. You should be in a $100 trade. This is especially everything's free commissions now. So you're in a $100 trade and you make 10%. Great. You didn't make a lot, but you made more than you had. That's the point. Do you end up with more than you had? I'm kind of rambling a bit, but you end up in a $100 trade on one single trade. The next trade comes in later in the day and you end up on another $100 trade and that one runs 20%. You end up on another $100 trade and that one loses 4%. You should be cutting immediately. You should be cutting at 5% loss and taking gains at 10% minimum, or at least scaling out at 10%. Never enter a winning trade, never enter a losing trade unless you know how to scale your positions. So get a cash account, man. You'll be much happier. Much, much happier. Promise you. You just have more freedom, flexibility. How about when you enter a trade when you're on Robinhood? I'm not on Robinhood anymore. Like I said, I use it for my watch list just because it's quick and easy at work. Um, but just you enter a trade on Robinhood. Oh, this is your immediately pops up. Oh, you're about to be flagged as a pattern day trader. And you're like, oh shit, I can't get out of this trade. It's like the first thing that pops in your head. It's just this Robinhood's this whole gambling mindset. It's just horrible for it's great to get people investing and trying to take charge of their money, but they shouldn't get hooked and stay in Robinhood. If you're on Rob's Discord, you don't have Weeble, use his link in the Weeble. I have my own, but most of you guys come from Rob's, so I'm not gonna hijack his stuff. I love his Discord. They just put me on yesterday as the options team, so I'm happy about that. But again, I'm just doing this on my own time. It helps me to remember my rules that I showed you guys with the easy charts, the specific moving averages, and why I will or will not enter or exit a trade. If you gained anything out of this, I'd appreciate it if you tell more people to join this live stream next time. I'm going to probably go live tomorrow on the watch list. That's going to be it's going to be options focused because that's what I do. I trade options. It's going to be options focused, but don't get scared. If you don't trade options, take a look at it because the reason I'm buying those options is because there's millions of dollars of buyers into them and they're buying for June, July, August. So if I'm putting those on the watch list and they're buying that far out, these aren't day traders. These are hedge fund managers that are buying a long position in a company based off of due diligence and analysis and insider information that we don't have. So if I'm putting that on a watch list, even though I'm specifically calling the options on it, there's probably a good entry for stocks on it. Probably a little bit higher priced. Um, yeah, I pay for that software. I and to be completely honest, I do have an affiliate. I was an original beta tester with them way back in 2014 or 15. I don't know, when I was in flight school. I started trading when I got out of the army, 2014. And somehow this was before like all this stuff like stock twits and everything was blowing up and a bunch of spam and everything. And I ended up talking to one guy, and he was really interested in me being in flight school and was kind of jealous of me flying helicopters. So he reached out and I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for a little bit of help starting out." And he's like, "Hey, I'm developing this option uh, scanner," and there wasn't really much out there on the market for it. So he asked me if I wanted to be a beta tester. I don't know him, never met him, talked to him two or three times. I might still have the messages from StockTwits originally. I'll send it to you guys if you want. But I just this year got an affiliate with them. So if anybody signs up with my link, I do get an affiliate credit for it. But that's not why I pump it. I pump it as much because I've used them. I use them and I pay. You can't be an affiliate unless you're a member. And I pay for it. I pay the $99 a month, or 99.97, whatever it is. So I do pay for that. But also, they have live webinars every day. If I go in, I had it up here. It pulls up easily, but it's Black Box Stocks. If you would, please use my link if you're going to choose this. But let me see if it'll just log me right in. If not, I have to move it over. But okay. So, see, I was an affiliate. And if you look here, I'll get paid $25 for anybody that does use it. So it's right there, but I pay for it. You have to be a member to be an affiliate. This is my main option screener. And here's why. I go to options and I go to flow. This gives me a timestamp. This is all from Friday. So this gives me a timestamp. Not only that, but I get alerts. These are mod alerts over here. Um, 7-star Mike, great guy, big flow trader. He trades on flow, and this is just other people that are in the chat. But we see this green square. That's the mods, and what I get is I also use this for stocks. You can use it for stocks, um, but all of this tells me something. At first, it just looks like a bunch of crap, but I've been using it for so long that I can just read it. Pre-market scanner and post-market scanners. Um, this was another one. See LIXT. So it'll tell me what's the percent changed. If I look at what the alerts were, it gives me an alert sometimes on just the amount it's changed. So I like dark pool. I like low float stocks. So I set it. It gives me all this dark pool data. So it's fantastic. If you guys have questions about it, I know it seems intimidating to pay $99 a month, but I use it because when I see a yellow sweep like this come up, now this is a put, I don't use flow for shorts, but when I immediately go and look at it, I need to see what's going on with a yellow flow sweep. Um, but I would never click on it at 88,000. I'm looking at 200,000. or more on these sweeps, but not in something like Amazon or Tesla. So yes, I use this regularly all the time. Here's the fantastic part is this is why I love them. Education. Here's the class calendar. Look at this. These are live webinars that you register every day. So you're paying $99 for the education. If you think you're just paying for, oh, let me get an alert and somebody's going to tell me where to enter and exit, you get alerts. The mods will alert when they enter or exit a trade, kind of like what I do with the Discord. But if you don't know why, you're going to always lose, or you'll always miss the profit, or you'll get scared when you're in a trade. Like I'm down 20, I think it was 27, 28% on the small account challenge. One, if I lost all that 28%, I don't care. Here's why. It's a small portion of my whole portfolio. Number two is I don't think I'm actually down on it because I'm following flow that's way into the future. Starting the earliest one is April. So that's kind of close. So that one I start watching. But the others are June, July, October. So I don't care. Like these daily movements, I don't care. But so they have these class calendars. Those are all live webinars. Not only that, you have your stock guide. What are all those colors, right? Here's your colors. They're not buy signals. Obviously, it's more like a disclaimer, but it gives you all this information. Why is it alerting? What the color is for the alert, and they have it for the options too, which I prefer sweeps. These alerts are rapid fire. Look at this. These are the alerts I get on my phone. Let me see if I still have them. No, I don't. But once you go through the link in my bio on TikTok or Twitch or YouTube, if you go through there, you can download the mobile app after, and it'll give you mod alerts, and it'll tell you. Here you go. So you can't specifically see them, but like up here, this one up top says Trip Roulette Bullish. So what's Roulette Bullish? If we look here, Roulette Alert Bullish. Alert triggers when the option transaction exceeds open interest with bullish call sweeps, which sweeps are fantastic. This is going across multiple exchanges. And in options expiring in the same week. So when I start, I love scalping Friday weekly options because of these right here. Roulette Bullish, that's money, almost free if you can enter and exit immediately. You got to get out of those margin accounts. So, any other questions? Because I got to call it in about 5 minutes or so. I use that. There's another one I use, but I'm not as familiar with it. So I'm not going to go blasting it out there. I know other people in Rob's Discord use Black Box. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no problem. Hey, hit me up. If you're in the Discord, DM me anytime. I'm glad to help. I'm really appreciate you guys saying it's helpful. If there's something you didn't understand, please just message me, comment it, because I can get back to you. I know it's kind of rambling here and there, but if there's something you just really didn't get, I don't want you to leave here thinking, well, he just blasted through that. Let me know. Say it again. 12 MA, which is the exponential, the 180 simple, the VWAP in volume. That's what I use. Now, sometimes I will use the 5 EMA, 12 EMA, but I will still always keep the 180 up there just to make sure that is a hard, strong support and resistance. So, any questions before I go? Thanks for being active in this. Really, I appreciate it. I wish the on-demand was working, but if you are using Thinkorswim, go back and test all this. Use your on-demand feature. This is what got me more confident about my trading, was use the on-demand feature, set your times. Even if it was a trade you were already in, write them down like everybody says your journal. I don't specifically keep a journal in that manner. It's not working tonight, but find the date where you entered a shitty trade. And seriously, just replay it over and over and over. I mean, professional football players, baseball, they're going over the tapes. Go over your tapes. You could do this on Thinkorswim. No other platform does that I know of. Thinkorswim has on demand, and you could go over your tapes. So do it. You all have a good night. I appreciate it. Once again, I will try to make this a YouTube. I'll cut it up and trim it tomorrow, but look out tomorrow for the watch list, because that's what I'll be doing, is going over through my black box and going through all the flow that came up through the past week. That's where I get a lot of my watch list information from, is right through here. I go on options. I look up historical. I follow just the past week. Sometimes I go a little bit further if it was like a slow week, but I just do this and I go through all the flow for that time, for that week, and I start looking like where these big money buys came in. Not big money. I don't specifically like a single block, but AMD has been good. So if I see a ticker that I've seen before, AMD, 70, and these are March, I don't like that expiration. So I just keep moving, and that's what I do. I go through this, and this is how I come up with, here we go. Oh, that was March 19th. This might have already played out because of the spike. But look at that, $594,000 sweep for 319 above the ask. This is what I'm looking at or above the ask. You see that AA right there? So I go into it. Beautiful. So this is where my watch list comes from. Hopefully I'll have it up tomorrow. I'll be looking at let's see, quickly sweep. Again, I don't use puts for flow. But here we go. Neo. Hey, BB. B-boy stocks. He's in Neo. I don't know which strike, but look at this flow. We love it. And this is for April too. So shout out to B-boy calling on Neo. I haven't even looked at it yet. I've been busy all week. So I'll be looking at 60 strikes to start, 200,000 on a sweep, another 197,000 on a sweep. So that's good money right there. Let's click it and see what all those 60 strikes for. Look at that. Sweep of 500 for the 55s. I'm currently trading at 46. Yeah, I like this. I like these April. I like that right there. $500,000 on a single sweep. So this is how I get my watch list, guys. So again, Neo, great trade for shares as well, especially long term. But if you're trying to find out about options as well, please click my link, get the education, and ask me any questions you want. I'm here. I love it. You guys have a good night.